the motivation, like, this is why he couldn't save his mom. You know, he's got real fucking mommy issues. Big time. Like, this is...
In this iteration. But, I mean, it's always been known, like, that's why Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, is because his parents were killed in an alley, and now he's, like, has a thirst for justice.
But this is a big play on that. It
is a big play on it.
But this is straight up mommy issues. Like, straight up...
For this film, yeah.
Right, because his mother's crypt is bleeding. The Bat Monster comes out of Martha's crypt, and this coupled with the opening scene where Jeffrey Dean Morgan dies the word Martha, you know, the point is that, well, then they're going to say, well, why would Superman say his mother's first name? That's weird. Why wouldn't he just say my mom? Because at the party at Lex's house, he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Period. Or if not, he has a very good fucking idea. Okay?
That Clark has a good idea?
Yes. Because of the earpiece. He hears it.
Oh, right.
Okay, but then...
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's Batman.
He assumes... He knows that something's up with Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Okay. So, when he leaves to go save the people in Mexico, the fire in Mexico, okay... The next time that they see each other is whenever he goes, the next time they call, don't answer.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that he saw through his mask. He knows exactly who the fuck Batman is.
Because I don't think Bruce would have known about the lead that early on.
No. There's no way.
No.
So...
Unless he knows that he has X-ray vision, in which case he could have put 2 and 2 together.
But how would he know that? I mean, I guess through studying. But let's assume he didn't. For movie's sake. Okay, let's not just assume things where that's concerned. Superman, Clark Kent's a journalist. He would have done all his history on Bruce Wayne at that point in time and known that his parents' name was Martha to try to reason with Bruce Wayne. Because he says immediately, after he sees his dad on the mountain, you know, he walks to the top of the mountain. He has that imaginary conversation with Jonathan Kent. Mm-hmm. And his dad is what did he say? Mountaintop... He saved his farm but destroyed another. So he saved himself but destroyed, you know, another person's farm.
Because the flood, they stopped the flood, but the water was redirected to. And
he had to listen to the horses die all night.
The Lang farm.
Right. And so he says, and then he goes, well, how? What he talks about his mom, Martha, and he goes, how did you know, or you know, how do you know you love her, or something like that. And he goes, his mother. Gave him faith that there was good in the world. And that's exactly what Jonathan Kent tells Superman. And so I think that he would have done his homework. He would have known that Martha was Bruce's mom's name. And he would have known exactly who the fuck he's fighting whenever he shows up. Because he wants to ration. Or, you know, he wants to talk with Bruce. He doesn't want to...
Well, he didn't really help his case when... he, like, just shoves Bruce, like, 30 feet away from him.
Yeah, this is after Bruce had, like, unloaded 4 50 caliber machine guns at him and set up, like, a sound thing or whatever.
Because that hurt him so much, all those measly bullets. You see what I mean, though?
It was still aggressive by Batman.
Of course it was aggressive. It's Batman. Like, when are you not going to get aggressive with that guy? But I'm saying if you want to be the peacekeeper, you shouldn't just go up to his level and just, like, shove him.
Hey, when you're a parent and your kid can't stop screaming, sometimes you need to shock them into not screaming. And I'm not saying punch them, but I'm saying sometimes you need to do something shocking to realize that you are in charge. And that's what Superman was doing in that fight. He's not going to continue to let Batman's rage guide this because there is also a time-sensitive issue here.
With his mom.
With his mom. And so he needs to slap the shit out of Batman to get him to fucking realize what the hell's going on. He knows he's not going to hurt him. He's in a goddamn tank, for Christ's sakes. And so he pushes him out of the way.
At what point did he lose part of his face on that tank? Like, the face piece.
Whenever they're fighting and Bruce Wayne, and this is the second kryptonite grenade has gone off in his face as he's flying towards him. Not with intent to kill or anything like that, because he hasn't yet. But Batman shoots that second kryptonite grenade at him, and you see him lose control, like he immediately goes, kind of goes limp, and with the force, it knocks off half of his fucking face on his bat mask helmet thing or whatever.
When Superman punches him?
Yeah, but it's never with intent to destroy or kill.
No.
So he's still completely in control, even though he's getting the shit kicked out of him by fucking Batman. So he was always there to be rational. But Batman was not. Batman was there to fucking kill. And he had this entire fight set up to
kill Superman.
To where he knew that he could land Superman on the ground, go down, get him tied up, all this shit. And he had the spear fucking sitting in the ground like 10 feet away. This whole thing was planned out and mapped out by Batman. And once he gets that spear into the air and he's getting ready to kill Superman, he was getting ready to bring... Why are you saying that name? Why are you saying that name? Because he has no fucking idea it's Clark Kent. He doesn't know. He doesn't know Clark Kent's mother's name, but Clark Kent knows Bruce Wayne's mom's name.
But you have no evidence to support that. But you have a lot of theories that fit, but there's no actual... in the movie that says, oh, I figured out your...
Oh, I'm sorry, in a 3-hour movie they forgot to show Clark Kent sitting in a library looking at microfilm going back through Bruce Wayne's personal history.
They don't necessarily have to show that, but they could show...
From 1981.
They could perhaps show him X-raying the mask?
Why?
Well, why not?
You know that he has X-ray vision. Why?
Well, yeah, we knew that, and of course they didn't... That goes back to the wheelchair thing. Why
Right.
didn't they explain that it was lead-lined?
Right, but I don't think this needs it. This is the thing, is that it doesn't need it. It's an action sequence. You don't need to show him, you don't need to Iron Man face him and, show, a X-ray to see it's Bruce Wayne, at the party or during that first fight scene when...
Why would you have to X-ray him at the party? He's not wearing a mask.
Well, you know what, okay, so not at the party, but at the fight scene when he pulls the doors off the fucking Batmobile.
Yeah.
So... I just think at that point it's kind of fucking pointless. I guarantee he fucking did that. I mean, there's no proof in the movie, but whatever. Well, he says fucking Martha. He says Martha. Okay? He says Martha.
Yes.
What if it's... I mean, I like the theory, I do, but what if it's as simple as him saying that because he's already worn the hell out and there's a kryptonite spear, 2 inches from his face?
Yeah, and that's not the point. It's not the point on whether or not he knows it's Bruce Wayne or not. But I guarantee he fucking does.
What if it's him saying Martha?
Because he goes Bruce at the beginning of the fucking fight. Bruce.
Yeah.
He knows it's Bruce Wayne.
But what if it's him saying Martha as him trying to say, I have to save my mother, her name is Martha, but he's so fucking pooped that that's all he can say.
But even then, Bruce Wayne was going to kill him until Lois Lane showed up.
Yep.
And then he's like, why do you say that name? She's like, that's
it's his
mother's
mom.
name.
Yeah.
And then which triggers his already very fragile psyche.
Right, and he just kind of goes, what the fuck, and does, kind of like shake takes and throws the spear away, and then there's that flashback to Thomas and Martha in the alleyway.
And them dying.
Clark saying Martha made him flashback directly to Thomas saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about...
It makes the alien human.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy who's so scarred by his parents' death that he dresses up like a bat to fight crime.
Yeah.
So if an alien is saying you're letting them kill Martha, obviously it's going to create some huge response from Bruce's side.
Right.
Where he would stop for a second and be like, wait, what?
But yeah, that's the biggest joke of the movie. And it's the most important thing, I think, in that movie, is Batman realizing that Superman is
more human than he thought.
Yeah.
Clark is the most human of us all. It was a quote Batman said. I don't remember what it's from, but in a lot of ways he's the most human of us all. We're all fortunate he doesn't realize he's a god.
Yeah, That's very true.
It's because of the way he was raised by the Kents.
If he wasn't raised by the Kents...
We should move all of our kids to Kansas and...
No. There's no telling what Superman could do. He holds back his strength in every
Well, there actually is a telling of what
Injustice.
he could do.
Oh, yeah,
nope.
Injustice.
Well, Injustice he does. He doesn't hold back.
That is one, but that's not what I was referring to. Red Sun, where he lands in a Warsaw-packed country.
Yeah.
And becomes, super Stalin, basically.
Yeah. What irritates me about everything with Superman, holding back his punches, and it's not really that it's an irritation, it's just that it's even holding back, he still hits people really fucking hard.
But he hits them hard enough. it's like the whole parenting thing. Like he hits him hard enough to kind of shock him into going, I can't win this fight. And that's what you do as a parent. You don't hit your kid, obviously, but you shock them enough to go, like, even if they're like sitting there just whining, but you go, hey, you kind of scare them a little bit, and they're like, oh, okay, you're a big dog, I'm a little dog. You got to do that with kids, and that's kind of the way that it goes back to what you said about, this is the way that Superman perceives humans. You got to kind of slap them around a little bit until they kind of know that they're the small dog in this fight.
And he's a Kryptonian.
Yeah. Well, it still seems to me, though, like the fight with Doomsday, and it could just be being weakened by the kryptonite still, but it still seems like Superman's holding back his punches.
I think that psychologically that has a lot to do with it, because I think that he feels ultimately responsible for the deaths of thousands of people through the fights that he's had, and I don't think he wants to do that again. And so I think that he fears what will happen whenever he unloads.
After what happened in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they're both battle scarred by it, like psychologically more than anything, because Superman is guilty, basically.
And if Wonder Woman didn't show up, it would have never ended.
Yeah.
Never ended.
No, Wonder Woman is the literal godsend to these two guys. And
I think Wonder Woman is the film's way of showing them that, hey...
She's the middle ground between a god and a human.
Because she's a demigod. She's half and half.
There you go. And that's why she stands in the middle of them.
Yep. And because she's a BAMF.
Well, but I'm talking like all the little visual things that BVS did to kind of tell a story without using words. Mm-hmm. How she's the one that, instigates... She didn't instigate the fight, but she definitely takes over this fight. Yeah. As Batman's kind of like... Well, he's Batman like, I'm out of here, man! And he just kind of runs away, and he
just watches, and you can just tell, he's like, yeah, I'm kind of useless right now. Have fun.
Totally out of his
He's like loading a grenade for like 30 minutes. He goes, yeah, I'm still getting this grenade in, guys. Keep on, you guys got it.
He fires, he's like, I did something, I did that. He's
like, and I helped.
And then I made despair. This is after he's run... You see Doomsday flying through the air, and he's like, shit! And you see him just start flying across the
rooftops.
Yeah,
grappling.
Or even when Doomsday first appears and fucking destroys the Batmobile.
And he goes,
he's like, oh shit, because he knows.
Yeah, he knows he's toast. And then Wonder Woman swoops down and she deflects the blast with her bracelets.
So that's the thing too, that I want to talk about this movie is the soundtrack.
Oh man,
how it is the greatest soundtrack of any movie in the last 20 years. Name one better. I'll wait.
I don't know.
Yeah, of course you don't, because there's not one. Not one that doesn't include words, songs that have words.
So you're talking
for a composed.
So you're talking about
Tron
just
Legacy
a composed
soundtrack.
Oh,
Daft Punk, you can't go wrong with that, but it's not as good as Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL.
But the one that people really love is
the Wonder Woman theme, which of course they're using for the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
But you getting blown up by what are you?
I don't know.
Phone calls. Is it the police department?
Possibly.
It's a booty call.
No, it's probably the police department. But anyway, hold on, give us a second. It doesn't matter what you think because you're wrong.
What happened to this whole everyone has an opinion?
Everybody does have an opinion, but if you don't think that the Junkie XL Hans Zimmer...
No, it's great. I think it's awesome.
Well, and they're using...
But I'm just saying that Wonder Woman one is their crowning achievement.
If this seems a little off, I apologize, but...
Caleb I had a phone call from the local police department, so... Not because I did anything. I'm fine. I'm innocent.
Just remember, motherfucker, stitches end up in...
Snitches.
Yeah, there it is.
Snitches end up in...
Obviously, I don't say that a lot.
I had a second grader tell me that.
Ooh, that's fun, right?
What?
Yeah. Actually, she told one of her classmates. She looked at him and she's like, snitches get stitches. And I'm like, you're 4. Not really.
Stitching on? What? Did she wetted her panties or something? I peed myself.
No, she threatened to stab one of her friends with a pencil. State of public schools currently, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Fun, right?
This is why I don't have kids.
Yeah, well, that and other things. So Batman, yeah. Besides that, just two more things.